You mentioned children.
Yeah.
I was curious if the concept of the compass might be applicable for providing grief support or compassionate care to children.
Sure. Children have the same basic needs in grief as adults do. They tend more often than not, and the younger they are, the more likely what I'm about to say is true. They tend to express their grief much more in their activities than in their words. Really, young children typically don't have the words to say, I'm sad, I'm angry, I feel somehow responsible. I'm always alert to the fact, though, that children often feel responsible for the death of people in their family. They may actually think, I misbehaved and that's what caused my mom to die, or something like that. So lots of reassurance. Once again, asking them to remember stories and to tell stories in childlike language, and where were the things you enjoyed going, places you enjoyed going, what were the things you and your mom did together. Be very powerful. With children, I think we want to be particularly careful with the reaffirmation piece. I'm very concerned about spiritual answers that make great sense to you and me as adults, as people in my case, with theological backgrounds. I'm not nearly concerned when we say that someone is asleep in Jesus, because we know what we mean.
Yes.
But when we say that to a 5-year-old, we are buying sleep problems for his parent. And so we want to use very concrete language with children, especially when we're talking about spiritual issues. It's hard for a kid to grasp because it's hard for us to grasp that Dad's body is here and Dad's spirit is with the Lord, or whatever the case may be. But we have to find ways to do that. When I have children who are seeking spiritual answers, I tend to be very Socratic and say, well, what are you making of that? What do you think happens? How do you make sense of that? And often we find out sort of where kids are in that whole process of meaning making. Not suggesting we don't share faith with them. I'm only suggesting that we make sure that we're alert to how we do that in an easy way. Same way with realizing. I think it's very important that we use direct language with kids, that we say, unfortunately, Grandma got very sick, and most of the time when we get sick, doctors are able to give us medicine and make us better. This time, there was nothing that doctors could do to help Grandma, and her heart quit working, her lungs quit working, her brain quit working, and she died.